What does sensory overwhelm look like? Imagine driving down the road at night and every car has their brights on. Pretend for just a moment that the shirt you're wearing, instead of it being made of cotton, polyester, whatever it's sewn through it, it's made of sandpaper. Are you feeling uncomfortable yet? In a world filled with constant stimulation and endless sensory experiences, imagine what it feels like if every sound, touch, and smell becomes amplified, keeping you not just on edge, but entirely overwhelmed. That is what life is like for a child or person struggling with sensory overload. And it's exactly why your child may be having constant meltdowns, tantrums, and anxiety whenever you go into the grocery store, a busy restaurant, or even try to make it through the day at school. In this video, you'll learn not just what sensory overload is, but most importantly, what the root causes of it are. We're also going to cover what action steps and strategies you can put in play to help calm your child's neurological storm and have more good days than bad when it comes to your child's sensory processing challenges. If you've already tried OT, sensory play, and tons of other modifications and life changes to help calm your child's sensory overload and improve their day-to-day quality of life, but you still see them struggle way more than you'd like, then this video is for you. When we see kids in our office who struggle with sensory overwhelm, it's very apparent and shows up in their life in a number of ways. It could look like covering one's ears when any slightly louder than normal noise is present, aversions to different foods, sensitivity to being touched, difficulty in certain lighting situations. Think of one of the body's senses and having the information your brain receives from that sense being significantly increased. Sensory overwhelm refers to the state of being overwhelmed by sensory stimuli, where the brain struggles to process and integrate the incoming sensory information effectively, and therefore quickly shifts it into a state of sympathetic fight or flight overdrive and constant stress mode. This can be triggered again by loud noises, crowded spaces, bright lights, strong smells, food textures, tags, seams on clothing, and unexpected touch can all trigger an excessive sympathetic response. And this response then leads to anxiety, irritability, tantrums, meltdowns, difficulty concentrating, which is why sensory processing disorder is the number one root cause of ADHD. It can also lead to physical and emotional distress and so much more. The daily life challenges of families whose children struggle with sensory overwhelm can look like having troubles going into a store, a busy restaurant, taking vacations to busy places, as well as challenges with such as family get togethers, play dates, and even day to day school and social functions. There's a number of long term concerns when this challenge continues to persist. Because sensory overload and sensory challenges overall often limit a child's ability to socially engage, interact, and even concentrate or participate in school. It can really interfere with overall brain and neurological development and leave them at risk for struggles like ADHD, anxiety, and learning challenges later on in life. How does this play out? Essentially, when the brain and nervous system are constantly kept in a neurologically defensive state, we're wiring our nervous system for that stress. In other words, if our neurological development is occurring in a more heightened, protective, and sensitive state, it's going to subconsciously wire itself to be able to handle stressful situations and experiences in the future. Whether that's avoiding the stressor altogether, avoiding certain places, creating certain thought patterns or limiting beliefs, or heightening the body's senses to be more aware of its surroundings. Your nervous system is going to do and constantly try and make sense of potentially harmful situations and do what it can to protect you from similar experiences in the future. Now, getting into that depth of neurology and seeing how past experiences shape how we interact, deal with, and manage our lives going forward It's a fascinating and truly complex topic, which if you're really interested in, there's two books you should consider either reading or listening to. One being The Brain That Changes Itself and The Body Keeps the Score. But let's go back to sensory overwhelm and the nervous system, because understanding how stress impacts our nervous system and our sensory system, we're going to do that through this graphic, through this poster right here. So, how does stress influence our nervous system? And what we do is we break down stress in these three categories: physical stress, chemical stress, and mental emotional stress, the stressors of life, especially at an early stage in development. When neuroplasticity is at its highest, influence growth and development in a big way. The nervous system, especially in utero and during the foundational years of life, is absorbing its experiences and building a foundation for how to go about living in the world. Stress influences the system to change it from one that's more calm and relaxed to one that is just a little bit more on edge, uptight, or irritated. The stressors that have the most impact on how the nervous system develops are the ones that are experienced earlier on in life, repetitively, and surpass your system's capacity to resist the stressor. In other words, they're major stressors. So the body needs to compromise. The stress is affecting it and it needs to respond to that stress. And if the body doesn't have the resilience to resist a stressor, it adapts to it. The issue occurs and the challenges start to show up when that adaptation continues to stress out the body. This is what we call subluxation. Stress stuck on the nervous system, causing it to shift into a state of fight or flight, a constant state of stress. It's an adaptation in the body which is driving a constant stress response, keeping the system as a whole in a state of fight or flight. Now, this fight or flight state is one where our senses are heightened, our system's more on edge, and our subconscious mind is continually perceiving its environment as one it needs to protect itself from. And this is normal. It's a normal physiological response to stress, but once that stressor goes away, the body should transition back to a balanced, calm, and relaxed state. But this is not what happens when stress causes an adaptive response or a subluxation that then further stresses out the body. It is stress creating more stress. And over time, when the body's experiencing dysautonomia or a constant state of this gas pedal or fight or flight protective sympathetic state, this then leads to the different challenges, the symptoms that we start to see that show up on the outside. This is why sensory overwhelm is often seen in individuals with sensory and neurological challenges such as autism, ADHD, and sensory processing disorder. More stress early on in life that continues through life, which then can lead to more complicated challenges. When it comes to helping kids who experience these challenges and sensory overwhelm, most parents try to help their child by switching to sensory friendly clothing and foods, providing sensory breaks in a calm and quiet environment, and avoiding loud and busy places altogether. And these approaches can help mitigate their child's overwhelm, but they can also significantly limit the quality of life overall for the family. And while most families will first be recommended to see an occupational therapist or another specialist through the early intervention or school system, countless parents continue to report incredible quality of life improvements with neurologically focused chiropractic care. This care option for children struggling with sensory overload seeks to address the root cause of the condition, the subluxation, calming the overstimulated sympathetic or fight or flight side of the nervous system, and instead stimulating and activating the parasympathetic side of the nervous system, that is responsible for rest, relax, and regulate type of functions that a child with sensory overload most often struggles with. Many studies have shown that children struggling with sensory overload and sensory processing disorder overall have an underactive or suppressed vagus nerve that lacks the appropriate tone and function to help the child stay calm and better regulate in busy, noisy environments. That's one of the reasons our office uses an incredible piece of technology that can actually measure sensory processing and vagus nerve tone or function in just a matter of 10 to 15 minutes through an exam. Our goal is to help families see firsthand what is really causing their child's sensory overload challenges, which then helps us to develop a customized and personalized care plan to help address the root cause and help their nervous system to better calm and regulate when needed. Parents, you deserve better options for your child's sensory struggles than just avoiding busy places, changing environments, and trying to get your stressed out child to take deep breaths and calm their brain and body on their own. Head to our website by clicking the link below or in our bio to learn more about sensory overload, sensory processing disorder, and most importantly, our sensory processing disorder test and insight scans that measure the function of your child's sensory nervous system and vagus nerve. If you have questions, you can comment or send us a DM. Share this video with anyone you know who could benefit from information like this. It's truly amazing and a blessing to be able to witness the impact in kids and families' lives when we get to the root of the issue. And when more kids and families get under neurologically focused chiropractic care, then there's even more impact that can be obtained. But first, they got to know about it. And the way they know about it is by you doing things like sharing this video with them. So thank you for sharing. Thank you for engaging with this post and watching this video. If we can be of service to you, please reach out. We're here to serve kids, we're here to serve families, and we're here to help people heal, grow, develop, and live up to their full God-given potential. I'm Dr. Jeremy. Thanks for watching, and have a blessed day.